All right, so welcome everyone. This is part 3 of the Marketing Your Business series that I have been doing. So today we're going to really delve into the target market, and we're going to start looking at some social media platforms and which ones would be the right ones for your audience. Before we get started, however, let me just give you a little bit of an overview of Sbdc for those of you who may not be familiar with what the organization is. I'm with the Maricopa Sbdc Small Business Development Center. It's one of 10 centers in the state of Arizona, and it is the lead center and largest center in the state of Arizona. There are probably close to 1,000 Sbdcs across the country. So in almost every state in the union, you're bound to find multiple Sbdcs. Our main offering is no fee counseling, and that is because we are funded by the Federal Small Business Administration and Maricopa Community College districts in our case. The other Sbdcs in the state of Arizona are also funded by the SBA and the local community college in their county. So because of that, we're able to offer all of our coaching services and tools that we make available to the clients we work with at no cost to you. At the end of the session, I will share how you can request counseling services and give you kind of an overview of what that whole scenario looks like. And let's move on then to our, let me just mention here too. We do training like this, webinars, variety of webinars. We also have a wide variety of resources and tools, as I was mentioning, but I neglected to say that we are also have a great partnership with Arizona Commerce Authority and also with the city of Peoria. So those are our partners with the Maricopa Community College District Sbdc. I'm Jeri Denniston, as Eileen had said. I'm not going to read my bio here. You can read that, but my whole career has been predominantly in marketing, but I have additional training in strategic management, group facilitation, strategic planning, and business planning. And I'm also certified in a variety of tools. But digital marketing and social media marketing are my areas, probably my areas of expertise. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So quick review of the prior session. I think I have a slide on that. I hope so. And then we'll delve into the target market and the buyer persona, best practices in digital marketing. So we're going to go through that. And then we'll talk about social media and kind of implementing the plan. So last session was the planning session for marketing, because your marketing, if you shouldn't launch any kind of marketing campaigns unless you have put some kind of a plan together, and the plan really needs support whatever your overall business goals and objectives are. So the first, we covered those 4 or 5 questions. Where do I want my marketing take me in 1 to 3 years? That's your vision for the marketing that supports the vision for the business. The second question was, what might be different in my external environment that could affect the strategies I'm going to implement today to help me get to where I want to be 1 year to 3 years from now? And that's because we don't work in a vacuum. We live in the world around us, and our world could be Maricopa County, it could be the state of Arizona, it could be the United States, it could be the world. So everything that's happening around us impacts our business, impacts what we do. And so that's why you need to be cognizant about that. The third step was, how do you measure success? This is where you set your specific goals. So for marketing purposes, it's the financial. You're trying to create, it's lead generation, right? That converts to sales. So what does that look like? And what are some of the other measures of success that are going to help you achieve the goals 1 to 3 years from now? And then you take a look, all of that was future. On those first 3 questions, you're looking at the future, but now in step 4 and 5, you're looking at the today. So this is where the SWOT comes in. This is where you do your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and you list those out relative to your expertise in implementing a marketing strategy and the different tasks that go under that. And then the 5th question is, what specific strategies and actions do I have to implement today in order to achieve those outcomes 1 to 3 years from now? So we covered all of that in step 2. Now, today, we're going to talk about target market. And this is probably one of the most critical components that you need to spend a lot of time on if you don't already know who your target audience is. I asked this of students that I've taught and all my clients, and a lot of them say, well, anybody who lives and breathes. That is not your target audience. Your ideal customer. This is the person that comes back, that spends the most with you, that listens and follows you on social media, that is looking for whatever it is you are selling, the services or products you're selling. Can you describe that person in terms of these following areas? Their age, their sexual orientation, their gender, their education level, the type of work they might do, where they live and work, their interests, such as sports or the arts and crafts, music, travel. All of those things, take a few moments right now. This is going to be as interactive as I can make it in a virtual setting, but take a few moments to jot down just some bullet points that would describe at least 3 characteristics of who you think your ideal customer is. I'd like to give you a minute, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of time to think about that. If you have questions about this, put them in the chat, because I'm happy to answer questions as we go along. Some of my clients ask me, well, how do I know that, especially if you're selling online? You can do surveys. You can do customer surveys that inquire a little bit about them. If you operate a retail store or a restaurant, and people come in, you sometimes see, especially cafes and restaurants, you see repeat customers. Now you can get into a conversation with them and ask about their kids and their travel, because they'll tell you. Just show a little bit of interest and you'd be surprised what people will tell you. And that's how you gather information. You can, just by looking at a person, you can sort of guess, right? You can guess what age range they're in, how they dress. You can probably get an idea of their income level. What kind of car they drive is going to tell you whether it's a late model car and a high-end Cadillac, or it's a beat up Chevy. That's going to give you an indication. Not always, but it gives you an idea. You just have to be observant about the people that are coming into your store if you have a brick and mortar store. So we're going to move on now. Those are just some tips for how you can gather that kind of information. You'll be getting handouts. Eileen is going to we had to upload them for technical difficulties. We had to upload all the handouts to a Google Drive folder. So she's going to be putting that link in the chat during this, during the webinar, and so that you can go to that link and download all of these materials. You will get this, which is from Growth Wheel. It's a great worksheet to help you build this buyer persona, because you can delve into each of these areas. The nice thing about this worksheet is that it's a fillable PDF, so you can actually just type on it, or you can print it out and then write it out. But this will, cover some ideas, and if you can draw a picture in the middle, so much the better. If you can kind of gauge an idea, but fill this out. It's worthwhile. And if you've got more than one target audience, I recommend you print it out 2 or 3 times, because you may have 3 different ideal customers for 3 different product lines you've got. And they're going to be different. So having a good idea of who that ideal customer is for each of those product lines is going to be really important, because you've got to say different things in social media and in all your advertising and promotion in order to attract that ideal customer to buy that product. All right. The next thing to understand is what it is that your customer is really buying. Even if let's say you do run a restaurant, a local restaurant. Are your customers coming in just because they're hungry? Probably not. Are they coming into your restaurant because of the ambiance? Probably. That's one reason they probably are coming into your restaurant. Another reason they might be coming into your restaurant is because they like the food. It's a certain type of ethnic food rather than just a burger joint. They might be coming in and coming back to you because they know you're a local business owner, you struggled during the pandemic, and they want to support you. That may be the reason. That is true for one of the restaurants we have up in the area where I live in Prescott Valley. They did very well during the pandemic because all of their regular customers made an effort to come and to go there for breakfast and lunch on a regular basis in order to support the restaurant and make sure that all of the employees kept their jobs and the restaurant survived. That could be a continuing situation if that's your situation. It may be because of the service. It may be because there's one particular server in your restaurant that the customers just love and they always want to sit in her station or his station. That could be the reason they're coming back. But you need to understand why it is, what it is that people are buying, because it isn't necessarily the product that you're selling. It's the solution that that product offers. It could be the satisfaction they get from doing business with you. It could be that they figure you have the most expertise from anyone they've met, and they're coming for that. And it may be because they're trying to gain some knowledge, and you are able to educate them about their particular issue, whatever that is, a challenge or a pain they're having. It could be just convenience. You happen to be, on their path, on their way to work. And so, maybe one Starbucks is as good as another. That's probably true, except, people really like Starbucks coffee, but it's usually somewhere as you're driving on your way to work, you're going to pass at least one Starbucks. So maybe it's just convenience. But understanding that, it gives you a marketing edge then on the understanding of how you need to talk to your customers, how you need to promote yourself, because you need to address those issues. That's those specific issues, the reason the customer is buying, that's what you want to address in your marketing message and in all of your content. So having a good understanding about that is important. Where do you find them? This is the other issue. Why would it be important to know? Why do you care? This is a question, and asking for some answers in the chat here. Why would it matter if they live in metropolitan cities or rural communities, for example, or if they live in an apartment or in a single family home or on a farm? Why would that matter to you? Why would it, why is there, can you think of any reason why that would make a difference? Anybody want to contribute something in the chat? I'm not seeing any, so I'll just move on unless I see something in the chat. If you are only selling online and you're selling on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, your website, etc., it's still important to understand where your customers are coming from. And if it's online, then in this situation, you're looking at, are they accessing your website and your social media through mobile or through desktop? So are they using their phones or are they using their desktop computers? That's an important feature to know, because then you got to design your website and your post to make sure that they're mobile friendly if most of the people are coming to you via mobile. And there might be some features that you can offer on mobile that you can't offer on desktop and vice versa. But in terms of apartments versus farms or ranches, well, here's some distinctions. I live in a rural area, not as rural as some other areas, but we don't in some of these rural areas, we don't have broadband. So, if you're selling online, I may not be a customer for you if I live out on a ranch on 20 acres and I don't have access to really good internet. Then that becomes a challenge. So if I'm your customer and I'm a rancher out there in the boonies, how are you going to find me? You may have to actually drive out and look for me, right? So that if you're selling feed, for example, and not necessarily through a feed store. I see there is a question in the Q&A. Chat is disabled. Oh, okay. Maybe Eileen. Thank you for that, Heidi. You can always put the questions in the Q&A area then, or unless Eileen can enable the chat. I didn't realize it was disabled, but thank you for that. So Understanding where they live means you can target them. If they're in metropolitan cities, then there are tools that you can use to draw circles. For example, if you have a restaurant, people are not necessarily going to drive 20 miles to that restaurant unless it's a destination place and it's known for something, like the Black Canyon City pie place, right? People go there for their pie. And they'll drive up from Phoenix and they drive down from Prescott and Prescott Valley because they really want a good piece of pie. And that's what they're known for. Plus the ambiance is kind of cool. But for the most part, depending on what kind of a retail situation you have, retail store, your customers may not be coming from further than about 5 miles around you. So now you need to really look at where those people live and work. And that's your target market, right? Because if they only are going to travel 5 miles, then that's your target audience that you need to be appealing to. If you're online, then it's a broader population, but you can design your messages in such a way that they're going to attract the right kinds of people. But just understanding where they live is also, and work is also, an important feature of your marketing. All right, let's talk about digital marketing now. We're going to specifically get into digital marketing. And we're going to talk about some of the best practices in digital marketing. Again, understanding your customer, we just talked about that, and the profile is going to help you with this content, the messaging that you're going to do through your digital marketing platforms. And digital marketing is actually broader than just social media. So we're going to talk about all of these different areas. And one of the things I'm going to talk about is blogging. So identify your target audience and your goal. So this is the first best practice in digital marketing. And that, what we just covered about knowing your audience's needs and wants. Then developing a content strategy that goes beyond blogging. Blogging is important. And if you aren't comfortable writing blogs, you can hire people who are really good blog writers, and you can hire them as contractors, independent contractors, through platforms like Fiverr or Upwork. And we even have a platform through the Arrow program that we can talk about a little bit later, where you might be able to find a blog writer that can help you at relatively no cost to you. But developing the content strategy that goes beyond blogging is going to be important. This drives website traffic. Blogging has proven. HubSpot did a survey not too long ago on the results of blogging and discovered that companies that actually updated a blog at least 1 time a week saw about a 4-time increase in website traffic. People pay attention to blogs, people read the blogs. This is an opportunity for you to share your knowledge and inform and educate, not promote. And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for answers to their questions. The next one is create a relevant content strategy to attract them. This content needs to be something, like I said, you may have 3 different product lines and you've got 3 different ideal customers. If you just do shotgun approach to your marketing, hoping that you're going to attract people, you'll find it's probably not working as well as you would like. So you need to have specific content for each of those audiences, for each of those product lines. It's a little bit more work, but it's going to generate a lot better results for you, because you're going to attract the right person to the right revenue stream. And that's an important function of digital marketing. It's considered the most effective SEO tactic that you could implement. And incorporating SEO tactics, including keywords. This is also important. You've got to do the keyword research as well, because if you don't do the keyword research, do you all understand what keywords are? These are the word or words that people are typing into the Google search bar when they're looking for information online. And if they're using a mobile phone, then they're going to drop the A's, the thes, the ands, right? They're going to type nouns because you're trying to type in as few words as possible. And in Google's search terms, a keyword can be 4 or 5 words strung together. It's whatever that phrase is that someone is typing into the Google search bar. You need to include that phrase once you've done your research and you discover that there are thousands of people using that term to search for something online, then, and it doesn't have a high level of competition. We don't have time to go into the keyword research strategy, but that's something we could do down the road. But you're looking for keywords that have very low competition, but high search volume. Those words in that exact order need to appear in your blogs, in your social media posts, on your website pages, because that's how Google's going to find, that's how Google is going to find your information and serve it up to the customers that are searching. So it's a really important tactic. Search beats social media by 300%. That's a huge, huge number. So if all you're doing is posting on social media and not incorporating any search tactics, then you're probably wasting some time. Let's look at some other best practices here. Advertise across multiple platforms. We don't, when we did traditional marketing, we looked at radio, television, flyers, print ads, right, in newspapers and magazines. You didn't just do newspapers, you also did radio, because your audience is going to be, you want to reach the audience wherever they happen to be. Well, the same thing's true for digital marketing. Don't just run an ad on Facebook. Also run an ad on Instagram. Also do Google pay-per-click ads, because you don't know where the customer is, but the ad is what's going to attract, and the words that you're using in the ad and the images you're using in the ad are what's going to attract the right person to your website or to your online store. And it gets you the higher engagement and increased purchase frequency. Important thing to do. Email marketing. People think email marketing is dead. It is not. It is still alive and well, even though our inboxes get flooded with all kinds of email, but our list gets stale. You have to clean your email list regularly. And that means, periodically sending out an email, a broadcast email to everybody saying, hey, we're updating our list. And we just want to make sure that you're still, receiving and you're interested in continuing to receive our information. 20 to 30% of those emails become obsolete in 1 year. People move. They get tired of that, of all of the information flooding one email box, and they close it and they open another one. They start using a different email. So your email may bounce on a regular basis. So you need to clean that email list on a frequent basis, several times a year probably. Use email campaigns. This is another one. Don't just do a broadcast email message to everybody, but have specific campaigns. You can do seasonal campaigns for promotion. If you're doing a BOGO sale or something like that, you could, if you notice that you've got seasonality in your sales, then you want to do email campaigns that promote during the off seasons, right? To get more regularity in the sales. Campaigns, which means more than one email. It's a series of emails that build on one another. Those yield 38% to 4,400, 3,800 to 4,400% returns on your investment in that. So very worthwhile doing email campaigns. And that means using platforms like MailChimp, Constant Context, Sendinblue. There's a wide variety of those platforms that you could use to create automated email campaigns. Using chatbots. This is another thing. People are looking for help, the support. It's a little frustrating. I've gone through this recently myself. And you end up talking to a chatbot and you can't talk to a real person and you don't get your answer. That leads to frustration. But if the chatbot is designed properly, it can actually improve the user experience on your website and streamline the sales process. So, if it's after sales survey, how did you find, was this helpful? How did you find the checkout process? that can be a really good chatbot use. So something to consider. So let's now talk about email marketing campaigns. Let's take a look at how this works. So first thing is you've got to create a landing page. But the way this works, this whole diagram of the permission-based email marketing campaign. You do all of your promotion on social media, on whatever, in your blogs, through emails, how in YouTube videos, however you do the promotion. Every single one of those has a link to a landing page, this landing page, because what you're trying to do is send leads to the landing page. The landing page is a single focus web page, and you can use different platforms to create landing pages. There are platforms out there that do nothing but create landing pages. The beauty of using that versus building a landing page in your web platform, like whatever your web host is, GoDaddy or something, is that you generally are forced to have a menu at the top. A landing page doesn't have a menu that says the about us and contact us and where you can learn more. Our different products and services. You don't want that on a landing page. And why would you think you don't want that on a landing page? There is a question here. Are we getting the slides? Yes, you will get the slides afterwards. In that download link that Eileen's going to provide, you'll have to download the slides. So why would you think that you wouldn't want to have the menus like you do on a website, that all of the different options on a landing page? Anybody have an answer to that? You just put that in the Q&A and type your answer there. And I don't see any response, so I will go ahead and fill. The reason you don't is you want them to take action on that page. You've got 3 seconds to catch someone's attention. So that landing page has to have a graphic or a video that's going to capture that attention, get them to stay there, get them interested enough, minimal text on that, but interested enough to fill out the form that's on the page. And that's what you want them to do. You want them to fill out that form, make it as easy as possible, capture only a name and an email address. And that's the most you want them to do, because that gets them into your inbox. There are some answers here. Let's see. Distracts people. Exactly. Having the menu at the top is distracting, and they can go click on one of those and get sidetracked and never come back to fill out the form. It streamlines the sale process. Yes, it does. So once they've filled out the form, they're now in your campaign process. The next thing they should get is a thank you page. And it could be now a thank you page that's part of that landing page system, or it's a thank you page on your website that thanks them for joining, and now ask them to please just confirm one more step, please confirm your email. And that confirmation takes them to their inbox. It forces them to go to their Gmail or their Outlook or Yahoo, and now find that email from you that said, please confirm that this is you, click the link. And now what this is called is permission-based email marketing, because it says, yes, I'm confirming that's my email, and yes, I know I'm in your mail, in your system, and yes, I know I'm going to get email from you. And that's permission-based, and that's really a critical component here of email marketing. So that would be the very first message they get. Once they've clicked that and confirmed, they can either log in, if that's what you want them to do, is log into your website, or now they'll get the first email that has some kind of content that is related to what you were talking about on the landing page. The rest of the emails that you send them, and it should be, could be a series of 12 or 20, however many emails that are part of this overall campaign, they all need to have content that is relevant to why they signed up. This is not a time to now start promoting all kinds of other different things, because they'll just unsubscribe and say, that's not why I wanted to get onto your list. They got onto your list because they wanted to get something. Should it offer a free digital item? That still works, absolutely. You can offer a discount on, a 2-for-1 offer. You can offer a free digital guide. You can offer a flyer. You can even offer a free video that's going to tell them how to do something. But yes, offering some kind of a digital item would be very useful, because that's a reason why I signed up, right? I wanted information. So now give me that information. And you deliver that either in a link where I go to another page where I can read that information and download it, or you deliver it in this first content one email with the attachment there, or a link to go download the attachment. And then you can do a series of emails, again, each one building on the other. They should be short, not really long, but short, and each one can now have a link to your website for more information. And now you do want to send them to the website because you want them to go browse. You want them to go look at the information that you have on the website. And these would be snippets of information that you've pulled from your website that's relevant content to that audience in order to get them over time to finally decide to purchase your coaching series, or go to your store and take the 2-for-1 coupon and invite a friend to lunch, whatever the campaign strategy is for that particular campaign. But the goal here is that only after you've delivered, and now it's 10 touches, and 9 of those have to not be sales touches. 9 of them are informative, educational touches. The 10th one then is a sales pitch, an offer for a special promotion, the BOGO, the whatever, or to check out, buy products and check out through your online shopping cart. How would you do this if you offer senior care? Lori, if you're offering senior care, then you need to be thinking about who your audience is. It's probably, it may not be the seniors. It's something we may have to take offline and talk more about, but it could be the senior who's considering, it depends on what type of senior care. So if it's in-home senior care and you would be talking to the seniors, then what you would do is figure out what it is they're looking for. They're looking for someone to drive them, to take them on to their appointments, is because they can't drive anymore, or are they looking for someone to come in and help them with their prescription meds? That's the messages. Those are the messages, but understanding what it is the seniors are looking for based on the kind of care you provide, those are the messages that you would put in your emails, and then ultimately encourage them to sign up and register with you to get a senior care consultant to come out and visit with them, right? If it's in-home care. So that's how you would do it from a service-based standpoint. If you're a coach, then similar kinds of thing. Depends on what kind of coaching you do. But if your goal is to sell a program, so you want to do one-on-one personal coaching and you want them to buy a 3-month package of personal coaching, then you need to convince the person they need a coach, right? I mean, every business owner really does need a coach. You need a business coach. And so through the series of emails, you would talk about the benefits of having a coach, how the coach is going to help keep you accountable. So all of those things, the reasons that you got into business, of being a coach, of helping other people, those are what you want to be talking about in your email campaign, and ultimately get them to sign up for your introductory package. And maybe it's only a one month. Try me for 4 times, 4 times in 1 month. And then we can talk about a 3-month or a 6-month or a 12-month package. But those are how you would design your permission-based email campaign. Okay, let's move on. I don't think I see, oh, there's others. Okay, Cassandra, could email offers be misused by customers? Seniors need bigger font size and high contrast. Yes, and you need to design your emails that way, right? So you wouldn't use small point size. You'd use bigger fonts and you'd use high contrast fonts. for seniors in particular. And Lori, I'd love to speak with you as well. Just make sure you, at the end of this, I'll tell you how you can register for counseling. So if you're not already an Sbdc customer, then please register, and that way we can work together and I can talk with you more about this. And we can work on designing an email campaign for you. Let's talk about social media marketing, because email marketing is one strategy, but social media marketing works really well with email marketing. So if you're doing your promotion on social media, then the idea is to get them to that landing page and get them into your mail, your content strategy, your email marketing system. Because if you don't get them into your email marketing system, all you're doing is one-way communication. Unless you spend all your time on social media, on Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, and you get a lot of, if you're getting a lot of comments from your ideal customer and a lot of interaction, then that's a great way to engage. But all you can do is engage with them through comments and conversation on Facebook. You can't get them to take action. So and you can't market to them, because Facebook isn't going to tell you anything more about them than their name and their profile. Maybe you can get an email address if you look up their individual profile on Facebook. But it's a lot easier if you can get them to sign up voluntarily into your email marketing system. And that way you can do direct email, targeted email to those individuals. So social media marketing is an excellent way to find those people who are online. You just need to know which platforms they're on. So again, seniors, for Lori, Facebook is one of the platforms you want to be on, probably the main one, because there's still a high number of seniors. You can see the age breakdown here. 41% of the people on Facebook, the 2.9 billion, are actually 45 plus, over 45. 56% are male, which is an interesting thing. It used to be mostly women. Now there are more men on Facebook than women. And those male users tend to be younger. They're 25 to 34. Another interesting change. Last year, it was equally split all across the demographics. Now it's shifted again. And 31% are 25 to 34. For a while there, the seniors were the largest growing demographic on Facebook. The latest statistics are showing me that that's not necessarily true. YouTube, if videos are really strong. Now you can do videos on Facebook, but YouTube is still the second largest search engine in the world after Google. People go to YouTube and they spend hours on YouTube watching videos. You can learn anything on YouTube. And you can see there are 2.5 billion people, mostly male, but a good number, 46% are women. And 77% of US internet users over between 15 and 25 are using YouTube. So if that's your target audience, then, and men in particular are your target audience, then YouTube's place that you want to be. You need to be doing a lot of YouTube videos. WhatsApp is a messaging app, and that's instant messaging. The nice thing about WhatsApp is you can send videos, you can do, it isn't just messages, you can do images, you can do video calls. It's huge tool for Hispanic predominantly. As you can see, 46% of the Hispanic population use WhatsApp. It's cheaper, it's free than using the mobile messaging on your phone, because there's a charge for that. But WhatsApp is free. And so that's why so many people are using the WhatsApp instant messaging tool. I think you can advertise on WhatsApp now. But if Latinos, if the Hispanic community is your target audience, then you need to be looking at WhatsApp. And you can see that it's almost split equally between females and men, 54% male, 45%, almost 46% female. So good number on that. Instagram, 49% female, over half under 35. So if you're looking at a younger audience, if that's your ideal customer, somewhere between 19 and 35, then they're on Instagram. more of them are on Instagram than on, and if they're females in particular, they're on Instagram versus on Facebook. So again, understanding this is going to be important. TikTok, this is the newcomer. It's based in China, but it's one of the fastest growing video platforms. And 57% female, only 25% of the US users aged 10 to 19 are using TikTok. So again, that's a very young audience. 20% in the 20 to 29 age bracket, and 70% of US teens are using it once a month. So if that's your target ideal customer is in this age bracket of 19 to 29 or 15 to 29, then you need to be exploring TikTok as a platform for you. Snapchat would be the next one. Again, 54% female, 82% are under age 35, but most of them have a college degree. So Snapchat, more users in India than in the US, but we still have, there's 557 million there. That's still a good number that are using Snapchat. Why do you think I have Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram in red versus black? This is a chance for you to respond. Why might I have highlighted those three in red? Any ideas? Most easy to use. Okay, that's not the reason, but that's a good one, Yamisi. Anyone else? Top three, profitable. Okay, nope, they're all owned by Facebook. That was the main reason. Facebook owns WhatsApp and Instagram. Yeah, they're looks like they're quite profitable as well. And not quite the top three, but definitely important tools to use. So again, just being cognizant about where your ideal customer is, which platforms your ideal customer is using, then you need to be there. You need to have a presence there, and you need to be talking about the kinds of things they're interested in that concern them. So my recommendation is that you don't do all of them. You pick one or two, and you develop a really good content strategy for those one or two, and then you explore adding a third and possibly a fourth. But don't try to do everything at once. You'll spread yourself too thin. So concentrate first on one or two of them and be successful at those before you move on to another one. Let's talk about some social media best practices, because this is another one. You want to post varied content. Don't deliver the same content all the time. And that means designing some creative posts, doing stories, doing reels on Facebook and Instagram, for example, using images, using videos, and changing up the text, changing up the hashtags. Identify, do some research, again, using your keywords on the hashtags that are trending, because that's another key component, because that's the reason the hashtags, rather than emphasis, it's a way to search on social media. Using that hashtag, you can search for all the conversation that's going on with people using that particular hashtag. And that is part of the whole listening strategy on social media, to see what other people are putting out on social media. Using images and videos that show people actively doing something. This is important as well. It's much more interesting than just looking at a talking head or a static image of a profile photo or a logo. That's not going to capture anyone's attention. Again, you've got like 3 seconds, or they'll move on to someone else. So actively engaged doing something. Another key thing about the images and videos is if you have females or children on your post, then and you have them looking in the direction where you want someone to take action, if it's to click on a link or something like that. Those are really subtle tips about designing your post in such a way that subconsciously tells the viewer, oh, I need to go look at that link and I need to click on that link. So there's a psychology behind how these are designed. Make sure you have specific content strategies for each platform. Don't post the same thing on all the different platforms because you got different audiences. And make sure that you can use the same images, but you change up the text a little bit and change up the message a little bit. Do a social media audit to see what is and isn't working. So after you've run a few posts, and especially if you're boosting posts on Facebook or Instagram, or you're doing ads, then at the end of each week, look at how those posts performed and see which ones did better. And the ones that did better, go take a look at them and analyze why. Why did you get more engagement from the one you posted on Wednesday at 11 versus the one you posted on Thursday at 6 p.m.? You know, what was the difference? Was it the time of day, or was it the type of post? And then see if you can replicate that for the next week. Let's go on. We've got more to cover here. Track engagement track your engagement in form of comments, shares, likes, not so much, but on each site. Google and Facebook in particular are not concerned about likes anymore. They're really more concerned about number of people following you, how many people are commenting and interacting with your post, and how many people are actually sharing your post with others. That's the engagement that they're looking for. And if you're getting high levels of engagement, then they're going to serve your post. Your post is going to rise up in the news feed versus others that are getting very low engagement. And this is another thing to keep in mind. You absolutely need to advertise now, because the algorithms have changed to such a degree. And ever since Facebook went public on their when it is now having stock traded publicly, they're beholden to their stock owners. And so what's really important is profitability, bottom line profitability. They changed the algorithms such that organic newsfeed posts get about a 1% viewership. You may have thousands of followers on your Facebook page, but only about 1% of them are going to see your newsfeed, unless you boost specific posts to a wider audience to get more attention for it. So you have to pay to play now. Okay, so I was just looking at the chat, sorry, just to see if there was anything else. Okay, let's talk about analyzing your hashtags. This is important too. Look at the hashtags when you are putting a post together on Facebook, especially if you're using the meta planner, and you start putting in a hashtag. Facebook's going to show you how many people are using that hashtag, what's the frequency and the trend on that. So look at that and see, well, is that hashtag, would it be relevant if I changed a word here and altered my hashtag, because it looks like 5,000 people are typing that in, or 4,800. Maybe that's a better hashtag for me to use, and it's relevant to the content I'm talking about. They need to be relevant to whatever you're talking about. Don't just use a hashtag that's got popular, a lot of people typing it in, that has no relevancy to the post that you're making. But look at your hashtags from time to time and just see how much engagement you're getting as a result of that. And you can do that by typing the hashtag into the search bar and seeing what kind of comments, what other posts, people sharing your posts that have those hashtags, or is it just you showing up? So do some research and look at how your hashtags are performing. Research your influencers. On the next page, I think I give you a bit.ly link for a website you can go to that really helps you with this. But influencers are the people on social media, on all the different platforms, that have huge followers, like Justin Bieber. I mean, obviously the music, the music stars and the Hollywood stars are going to have millions of followers. They don't pay attention to that, and they hire people to manage their social media. So you're not, if you think you're interacting with Justin Bieber, you're not. You're probably interacting with his social media gurus, whoever is handling his Facebook or Twitter or Instagram page. But those influencers, these are ordinary people, not the stars, but they have thousands or maybe even millions, or hundreds of thousands of followers. And you want to find someone who is relevant to your industry and relevant to what you're talking about. And then there is a strategy for engaging that influencer or those influencers to convince them to mention your product, your service, to suggest you to their followers. And so there's a whole strategy behind using influencer marketing that you can get involved with. And I will give you that link shortly. And it's right here, this bit.ly link. So you'll get the handouts, you're going to get this slide deck so that you can type that in and it'll take you to that website, because it was too long to just put the whole link in there. But you want to research these influencers to identify the ones. And these are some of the websites that you can, that will help you do that. So Follower Wonk, BuzzSumo is another one. Clear, TweetDeck. TweetDeck is one I used to use a long time ago when I first was getting started on Twitter. And it's apparently still around. That was a surprise to me when I was doing the research for this. And then use tools to help you manage your social media strategy. There's a lot of them out there. That's one of the handouts you're going to get also, that lists some other social media tools. Some of these are free, and some of them have free and premium features to them. But Sprout Social, Sendable, Buffer. I use Buffer a lot. I haven't used the Zoho, Meet Edgar, or Social Pilot, but I really like the Buffer app because it's so easy to use. You can connect 3 of your social platforms for no charge and schedule out your social content, design your post in Canva, and then plop them into the Buffer tool. And Buffer will automatically on a calendar, it has a calendar for each of those platforms, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every day of the week. And it will show you only the ideal times for each of those platforms, and each one's different. So if it tells you that, 1:17 p.m. is the time to post, a good time to post on Twitter, then you want to choose 1:17, because Buffer changes their algorithms on a daily basis. They go out, they do all kinds of research on social media and which times of the day are performing best. And that's going to change from week to week. So this week it could be 1:17, but next week it could be 6:20 in the evening on that same platform. So it'll give you several options during the day in which to post, and you can spread your posts out that way. And you can schedule them out for, I think you can do 10 posts for free using Buffer. So do you pay to boost your audience? You pay to boost your ad in order to expand your audience. So yes, by boosting a post that's performing really well currently, you can, and through the demographics on the Facebook and Instagram, when you're boosting that, you can reach a wider audience. You can find more people that are like the same demographics that you're trying to reach, but they currently don't know anything about you. And Facebook will tell you as you're doing that, with those characteristics you're putting in, you're going to reach an additional 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people. And because you can target it for just a certain area geographically, you can target it for the whole state of Arizona, you can target it for all of the United States. It just depends on where your audience is, where you want to pull people from. And then you can target by their hobbies, their interests, their age, their ethnicity. I mean, so you got all those different characteristics. The more finite you become, in that, the more specific, then the tighter your audience gets and the smaller the audience gets, right? But Facebook will tell you what those numbers are, and then you can just tweak that. But play around with it if you haven't done that. And the other thing is that you don't have to spend a lot of money. You could, if budgets are really tight, then you could say, all right, I'm going to try $25 a week or $25 for 10 days. And you set those time frames. I want it to run, I want to boost this post from this day to that day, and Facebook will then serve up your post to those people that fit the demographics you specified, and they will only boost it and only serve it up to those people over the course of those 10 days. So they're going to give it to all of those people, and it could be over the course of the 10 days, they may tell you that's going to reach another 10,000 people. And they'll serve up your ad to those 10,000 people over the course of the 10 days, not every day during the 10 days. But your ad will get promoted to that audience that you've identified during that finite time frame. And then you can see, did it succeed? How well did it succeed? Do you need to increase and spend more money? Do you need to change the demographics? Do you need to tweak the post a little bit, change out the image, change the color of the headline? When you're doing some tweaking, you only want to tweak one thing, because otherwise you won't know what it is that's making the difference. If it's the image, if it's the color that you used in the headline, if it's because you flip the image, you have them looking to the left instead of looking to the right. You added a video. Just change out one thing and then test it again. But that's how you will begin to understand over time what is working and what isn't working. Okay, let's see. I think we are almost at the end. Are there any additional questions that I haven't covered? I'm not seeing you. Oh, thank you, Yamisi. We are getting to the end here. This is part of what I do with my clients is I spend time, we can spend time actually building out a campaign. That's part of what we'll do. So not seeing any more questions. I will move on to telling you how to access the Sbdc services. This is my email, and you'll get that in the handout as well. But let me just give you a little bit of background on how to access Sbdc services here at Maricopa. So the important thing is, if you are not located in Maricopa County, all right, Maricopa County, Phoenix metropolitan area, but you're in Tucson or up in Yavapai County, et cetera, you need to go to the Sbdc office that's near you. Each one of us, Maricopa Sbdc, can only work with clients who work and live in Maricopa County. And this link is to the Maricopa Sbdc, but you could just Google Yavapai Sbdc, Coconino Sbdc, Pima Sbdc, wherever you happen to be. You can just Google that and you'll get to their website and get the link for counseling. So that's the first step, is to do that and register for counseling. And then once you've done that, Eileen is the one that receives all of those registrations, and she will review your application and assign you to a counselor. Now, if you have not yet formed a business, so doesn't mean that if you haven't been working in a business, you have an idea, but you're not sure what you want to do, and you haven't created an LLC yet or an S Corp, and you haven't actually engaged in business, sold any products, and generated any revenue, then she's going to assign you to our pre-venture team. And we have a couple of people who work specifically to guide you through that whole process of getting you legally set up to do business in the state of Arizona. And once that is accomplished, then you will get handed off to one of the other business analysts, one of the generalists like me here in the center. And we have about 12 to 15 business analysts at the Maricopa Sbdc. Then you'll get handed off to one of us, whoever is relevant to help you now work on your business, grow your business. And if it's marketing strategies that you're predominantly looking for, then chances are you'll get assigned to me. But if you're looking for loans, or you need to finance inventory or something like that, then you'll probably get assigned to one of the 3 members of our capital team, because we have 3 former bankers on our staff who are very helpful to the rest of the team in helping us identify the right lender for each client and help you through the process of doing that, building your loan package. Once you get assigned to, if you're not pre-venture and you get assigned to a general business counselor, then we'll reach out to you within a few days. We try to do it in 48 hours. But if you happen to register late on Thursday afternoon, and this is summer hours, so nobody's working on Friday, then the first time anybody's gonna be able to touch your application will be on Monday, and it could be Tuesday or Wednesday by the time you get a response. So just keep that in mind, that that depending on the day of the week that you register for counseling, it could be several days before Eileen responds to you, and then the business analyst reaches out to schedule your initial session. And that's the critical component here, is to schedule the initial session with your business analyst. You'll have, in that session, we'll go over what the objectives are, what's your vision for your business, what you're trying to accomplish, and we'll identify the next steps for ongoing sessions and follow-on sessions. Those follow-on sessions, there's no limit. As long as you need us, we are here to work with you at no cost, but only if you agree to do the work. We're going to assign you some tasks to do. We don't do the work for you, but we will coach you through that process. And we'll assign you some next steps and some tasks to work on before the next follow-on session. And if you don't do that work consistently, then we'll have to say, I'm sorry, this doesn't seem that you're quite ready for this, and we'll have to part ways. But at any time that you are ready, please come back, and you can always re-register, or just give an email to the analyst you were working with and get re-engaged with the process. But as long as you are willing to do the work, we're here to help you grow your business and help you succeed, because we want to build long-term relationships. That's our goal. Brian is asking, can you talk a little bit about Ripen? Yes. So there is a program that we have through Wells Fargo, funding by Wells Fargo, that that's called the AERO program, AERO, and Ripen is part of that. So it's AERO. I think the email address is aero.com/ or ripen.com/AERO, RIIPEN.com/AERO, and that will get you into the program, where there are 3 options. One is startup. It's a startup business. You want to start the business. Another is for capital formation, if you're interested in financing and you're looking for help with capital. And the third one is, and this is specifically the AERO program, if you are wanting to either be a service provider to hire students, predominantly students or other people, to do some work for you. For example, you need a social media expert, or you need a blogger, or you need someone to work on a specific project for a short time frame, then you would want to go through the AERO program and get matched with potential service. You would be then a service seeker. These terms, be a service seeker looking for a service provider. So those are the 2 areas. If you want to be a service seeker, you would register a project. If you want to be a service provider, you would register yourself to provide the service to those people that are looking for someone to work on the project. So that's the ripen.com/AERO. And Eileen, can you put that link in the chat? That would be helpful, just to make sure I'm saying it correctly. But the beauty of that program is that there's no charge for you as a business owner to utilize those services. The student, whoever you get matched with, that provides the social media support services or the blog writing services, actually gets paid through the AERO program when the project ends. So it is a paid internship for them. And you don't have to pay them, but you do have to provide some feedback in terms of how well they did during the program. So anyway, that's an interesting, that may be a possible solution for some of you to work through. And that's available to any of the clients of the Sbdc. So definitely, if explore that if it looks like a good option for you. We'll be, as we go through our counseling sessions with you, we'll be asking you to, we're looking to track your business goals. How successfully are you growing your business? Are you adding more staff? Are you adding, and the staff could be paid employees or contract workers. Are you growing your sales? Are you needing to invest more, get more financing to, expand into another office or another warehouse or, something like that? Those are the kinds of things that we'll work with you on and track those goals. The SBA requires that we, in order to provide these free services to you, they require that we provide some data to them. It is simply aggregate information on number of jobs created, number of jobs retained, number of businesses that were started, number of sales growth since we started working with you, and the amount of capital that has been raised either through loans from lenders or owner investment. But those are aggregate numbers. So your particular business information is not attached to that data. We just report raw numbers to the SBA on a quarterly basis during the year, and we have specific goals that the SBA gives us that we have to reach during the federal SBA year. Could you send information on how to sign up for the AERO, AERO program too? Sure, yeah, we'll do that. Eileen, just remind me so that we include that in your follow-up email. Okay, so our appointments are all virtual right now because of the ongoing situation with COVID and the recent surge. Everybody's working remotely, and so we counsel via Zoom and only by appointment. So we have no walk-ins at the moment to the Sbdc. But these are ongoing relationships that we're trying to build, and we'd love to work with all of you. That's what we're here. That's why we're here. And I think we are at the end. We are at the end of our webinar. So thank you so much for joining us. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A. We'll send you the link for the follow-up. We'll send you the link for all of the handouts, and we'll also send you information about the AERO program. And I'm glad you enjoyed the information, Heidi. That's great. So, okay, Yamisi is interested in AERO, so we'll make sure you get that. We'll send you the link for the AERO program for sure. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone.